Good morning, everybody. My name's Lisa. I'm a happy, healthy eater, recovered one day at a time from compulsive overeating and compulsive food behaviours. And it's a real honour and a privilege to be asked to come and share with you this morning. I'm one of those fellows who was advised from the get-go, don't plan what you're going to say. Sit quietly before a share and just ask to use you as ask God, the God of my understanding, to use you as a channel. And I did that this morning. And there's a couple of simple things that I do. When I first came in, the 5th of January 2004, I'd spent 10 days on what I can only describe as a super binge and purge, and it was violent and horrible, and I literally had absolutely had enough. And had I been told to do the things that I do, the simple things that I need to do today, back then, I don't know if I would have stayed. And the simple things that I do, as soon as I wake up, I say a serenity prayer. I send my food in to my food sponsor, of which I'm extremely grateful. I have sent my food in diligently for 21 years plus. And, studies say that if you write your food down and you send it, it helps with abstinence. I've always written 3 things that I've been grateful for, 3 action plan things, and an affirmation. And I do that on an app. And this morning, before the meeting, I just open the app. Oh, and I pray, of course. Serenity prayer, step 3 prayer, so that I can get out of the way and hopefully be of use this morning. And the step 7 prayer, because if I let my behaviors, my character defenses, they're called character defects in the program, self-righteousness, my ego, I mean, being here without my makeup on is quite a big ask, but I had to ask, please let my ego be out of the way. And I opened my app, and something that I posted, I post a photo with it as a reminder. And it's interesting because it's the plaque that was on Dr. Bob's desk on humility. I'm going to read it because it felt like it was guided. Humility is perpetual quietness of heart. It is to have no trouble. It is never to be fretted or vexed, irritable or sore, to wonder at nothing that is done to me. It is to be at rest when nobody praises me, and when I'm blamed or disparaged. It is to have, sorry, if I'm blamed or despised, it is to have a blessed home in myself where I can go in and shut the door, kneel to my Father in secret, and be at peace, as in a deep sea of calmness when all around and about is seeming trouble. And that is as far from what I was at 21 years ago. And I'm pretty damn close to that one day at a time, because of the things that I do to keep me in fit spiritual condition. And, I came in double my body weight, very angry, full of blame, incredibly self-piteous, uh, playing a victim. It was all about everybody else, and I'd done nothing. And today I'm responsible for everything in my life. And yeah, of course, I'm human. You know, I do get disturbed, and resentments crop up and slight fear from time to time because life happens. But I have a program of recovery that takes care of those things. And I'm going to try and run through the steps rather than run through all the things I did with food, because you all know what we do. And it's very comforting to be here and listen to other people that have done the same. And I end my day with a step 10 list to make sure that I'm not letting anything slip through the net. So I arrived completely powerless and unmanageable. And it was pointed out that the first word of the steps was we. So immediately I realized, oh, I can't do this on my own. And I was trying to do things on my own for a very long time. I didn't find recovery until my late 40s. And in many respects, I'd wished I'd found it earlier. But you know what? I retired in April and I couldn't be in a more stable, peaceful state than I am today. Be careful what you wish for, because, I've got a life beyond my wildest dreams. I really have. But I knew that I was beat, and people talk about hitting a rock bottom. I'd hit my rock bottom. I will say this, my abstinence has not been linear, but for the past 4 years, I celebrated 4 neutral years on the 1st of August. Things have been very different, and that's because I really surrendered to God. And I'd just been playing with it before, taking my will back from God many times. And, step 2 and 3 is all about God. How willing was I? It's all well and good making a decision to turn my will over to God, but I have to turn my will over to God. I can't just decide I'm going to. And I think 4 years ago, I truly did turn my will over to God. I still want to take it back from time to time. But if I do those things in the morning, if I didn't do them, because I do wake up a compulsive overeater every day. But if I do those things, I'm making a decision to turn my will over to God and be a happy, healthy eater. And that's why I like to announce myself as that. I think I am statements for me are important. So with the foundation steps of powerlessness, unmanageability, and deciding to turn my will and my life over to the care of something greater than myself, I was ready to embark on step 4. When I heard it the first time in a meeting, step 4 and 9 were like, oh my God. But I think if you've got that strong foundation of powerlessness, understanding that and knowing that you're going to go in to do a step 4 with God and a sponsor. I was lucky to get a sponsor very early on. And I followed a path using a derivative of the big book where I really unpicked my selfish, self-centered side, is that I just expected everybody should do things the way I did. That my biggest fear was that I was not wanted, unlovable. The dishonesty was having unrealistic expectations of other people, making other people's business mine. What a nosy old Parker I was. And of course, my character defense of control was very high in there, which was causing these behaviors. The big book says, where are we to blame? I like to say, where was I responsible? And I have to look at my actions, inactions, and reactions, because pre-recovery, I was definitely reacting on life rather than acting on it. And, when I'm disturbed, I make decisions based on myself. This is straight out of one of the books that place me in a position to feel hurt. And I have to ask myself, when's the earliest that decision was made? Because it's all about being triggered. And the earliest for me, and this is where my career as a compulsive eater started, was I was sent to boarding school at the age of 6. My mum packed a tuck box that we were supposed to give in. I was told by the dorm, don't give it in, we're having a midnight feast tonight. And I was so scared and frightened that anybody would see that I was scared and frightened and vulnerable, that I consumed the entire tuck box. It was for the term. And there I learned that I could hide my feelings under food. So that's just giving you a little background of where, for me, it started. Step 5 was very relieving because I was willing to go to any lengths. My sponsor ended up having to go back to the States. She was an American living in London. I flew to Houston, Texas. We laughed for 3 days. We cried for 3 days. My biggest secret, I told her, and she went, oh my God, I did exactly the same thing. And suddenly I didn't feel like I was on an island alone. Step 6 and 7 took many years for me to really comprehend that the longer I held on to those character defenses named defects in the program, like I said, the self-righteousness, the self-pity, the victim, perfectionism, God help me if I made a mistake. It was just like the worst thing that could have happened. And I mentioned yesterday, we were talking about mistakes, and my sponsor, she was such a funny, and we're very good friends still. She'd say, every time you make a mistake, I want you to be a cheerleader. I want you to go, yay, so that you realize that you're just human and you learn from your mistakes. And having the courage to, I can't get rid of those character defenses. I can have awareness of them, and I ask God, I turn them over to God and ask God to remove them from me. And that takes a lot of humility, actually. And I think step 6 and 7 are definitely the steps where I can't be that 6-year-old having a tantrum anymore. Just want to talk a little bit about thinking. My thinking is probably worse than the compulsive overeating. I call it the it thinking. It's my internal terrorist. It's the irresponsible teenager within me, and it's the irritable toddler that can set all those disturbances, fears, and the things that will send me into the fridge again. Codependency was another big defect of character. Step 10, I was challenged actually at the OA convention by my sponsor. She sends a step 10 in to me. We co-sponsor one another now. I started off sponsoring her and now we sponsor each other. It's phenomenal. And since the convention, which is a month ago, I've been sending step 10 in. It's taken me 21 years to do it. But boy, it has changed things. I mean, I am capturing each and every niggle. I'm able to see my character defenses much quicker, and for that I'm grateful. Step 11, prayer and meditation. I sort of jumped away from steps 8 and 9. I made lots and lots and lots of amends. And I think the greatest amend right now is the amend to myself to practice this program and, follow the principles in all my affairs, not just my food and behaviours. Just jumping to step 11 now quickly. Prayer and meditation, yeah, very important. I'm taking myself off to a 3-day meditation course. I was sent something that Bill W., the founder of Alcoholics Anonymous, in the last year of his life, was shown how to do transcendental meditation. And so I'm going to take myself off and do a course for 3 days in 3 weeks' time. And step 12, here I am, being of service. I sponsor 3 people. Of service in my home group. That's my time. So I'll wrap up. And I try and carry the message in everything that I do. People do say, what the heck is it that you do? You're so calm. And then I tell them if they ask. And above everything, it's all about God. Without God, I am nothing. And God either is or God isn't. And for me, God is.